Some people are defined by their work. Some people fear that if they stop working, they will not only lose purpose, but will also lose the way they contribute to our society. Now, others can't wait to retire and move on down to Florida for that next chapter. But if you're the former, then you can probably empathize a little bit more with Tom Brady. It seems that Tom is one of those people that just can't put the game down. Now, that's a whole heck of a lot easier said than done. And when you've reached the mountaintops as many times as he has, while continuing to prove all the doubters wrong, it must make it that much harder. But now combine Brady getting older with a Bucs team that is a walking triage tent right now when it comes to injuries, and you get a squad that struggles out of the gate and loses to the lowly Panthers by double digits. Now, in some professions, you can get away with staying around until you're 80 or having to drink dinner through a straw. Hell, in football, you can even coach practically forever, like Joe Pa and some others have shown us. But all players have an expiration date. It seems that everything going on with Tom Brady is out of whack right now. The team is struggling. His marriage seems to be struggling. And it seems he may have to actually make a final decision sooner rather than later. Now, we've seen other quarterbacks take a while to retire, like the Brett Favre saga. You've seen someone who knows how to go out on top, a la Peyton Manning. But either way, Tom Brady deserves to choose how he goes out, seeing as he is the GOAT. And just like anything you're in love with, football is something that is very hard to walk away from. Because it's not just the touchdowns or the incredible throws. It's the companionships and relationships formed in the locker room. Being around a group that is pushing to achieve one goal while relishing the successes and the failures because they both move you forward. It's that feeling in the tunnel as you walk toward that big slice of turf or that nice cut of grass that will be shaking due to the decibel level of the crowd. Now, while your heart is racing, you're still somehow a little bit calm. It's celebrating with your brothers after a huge stop or a successful drive. And finally, it's the look after the game from your loved ones and teammates, knowing that you accomplished something very difficult and you did it together. It's all of that, mostly behind the scenes, but as a player, it's always in the forefront of your mind. Now, I hope Tampa turns it around. Tom is able to get back into the hunt for one more ring. But if it is over, and I mean truly over for the GOAT, maybe this time he'll stay in the pasture, as hard as that may be. But I do know 2 boys and a girl, plus a supermodel, who will be pretty damn happy that he finally is. I'm going to go ahead and bring in David Cohn, former Michigan quarterback, Heisman candidate. My brother Blaine Crane, former Western State, Colorado wide receiver.
Jacked and
future
tan.
gubernatorial candidate and current NFL free agent. Packers, y'all need some help or what? Guys, the Tom Brady thing is interesting, and it's still early in the season. They're going to get some guys back. You know, I don't think Mike Evans is going to drop balls like he did last week. I don't think Fournette and that offensive line is going to be as bad as they were last week. Mm-hmm. But just like milk, just like eggs, just like cheese, and just like elected officials, well, in some cases, there is an expiration date for everyone. Mm-hmm. Father Time from a playing standpoint, not from a coaching standpoint, but from a playing standpoint, especially in the NFL, which is about as athletic as it gets when it comes down to it. There is an expiration date. And it seems as though if you mix this Bucs team that's struggling with Tom, who continues to get older, and I'm not saying Tom is the reason they're struggling. I think Tom Brady can still be effective, but he is not getting any younger. It's not going to get any easier, and you're seeing some other big dogs start to climb up to the top. You look at Josh Allen. You look at what Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have been able to do. It seems, Cone, I'm really feeling that this year may be it for Tom Brady, because I think you're seeing it kind of crumble from all angles. And I think he is smart enough to be able to sit back and make a decision at the end that's the next 40 years, not the next 3 or 4.
The most surprising part of watching this right now with Tom Brady and this Bucs team is that there wasn't a fall off for him last year after winning the Super Bowl in 2020. I mean, he led the league in yards and touchdowns last season, whereas when Peyton Manning won his Super Bowl in Denver, you could tell that he wasn't throwing the deep ball as well. You could tell that the Broncos were really leaning on that defense a lot, and he was able to win one more and then sort of
they had to 3D print a new neck for him.
Yeah, and that was part of it too, the injuries, which is something else that, you know, that didn't hold Tom Brady back last year. I mean, he led the league. That's the part of it that's surprising to me. And while they don't have a Gronkowski anymore, and AB's, you know, they've dealt with the Antonio Brown drama, they still have a lot of weapons. Now, Blaine talks a lot about the offensive line, and it's not good. But I'm looking here at the NFC, and they're sitting there at 3-4. Okay, the Packers are also 3-4, who are an NFC, favorite. San Francisco is also 3-4. I'm looking at a Rams team right now that's 3-3. All of a sudden, you have the Giants are 6-1. Will that continue? You have the Seahawks leading their division at 4-3. Will that continue? So I'm looking at the NFC is still up for grabs. Tom Brady has never panicked in October and November, right? He knows that if he can just get to the playoffs, it's a 4-game stretch. It's a 4-game stretch, and you want to take Tom Brady in those situations. At the same time, on the flip side of that coin, I have the schedule like we talked about yesterday where I'm looking at Ravens next, then Rams, Seattle, Cleveland.
That's what I'm looking at.
There's not a game on the Bucs schedule I'm looking at right now that I say is a guaranteed win.
Yeah, and I want to put this in perspective too, because when I look at Tom Brady, I look at one thing: can they win a Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. He's earned that right.
Yeah.
When it comes to even making the playoffs, that hasn't even been a forethought in my mind of a Tom Brady-led team not making the playoffs. That could happen this year. And I think if they don't make the playoffs, that will do it. I think that will do it. But I don't want this to come off as me again saying, Blaine, that Tom Brady is the reason the Bucs are struggling. I just don't think when you look at what's around and some of these other offenses, even with what the Bucs have, I don't think Tom Brady can find a way to manufacture enough points to keep up with the Bills, to keep up with the Chiefs. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if you're giving up 21 to the Panthers for that Buccaneers defense, God knows what the Bills are going to do to you. God knows what the Chiefs are going to do to you when it comes down to it. The games that you look at Tom Brady and say, that's why Tom Brady's Tom Brady, I don't know if he gets there number one this year, and I'm not saying he's panicking. I don't think the team's that good, but I don't know if they do get there, if Tom Brady is going to be able to outscore some of the newer blood. Because again, these younger guys, while they're getting older into their prime. They're getting into the level of you have that much experience where you can go out and dominate, not just physically. We're seeing that. We're seeing it with more guys than just Patrick and Josh. I mean, look at Lamar, and I know the Ravens aren't exactly blowing it out of the water in the second half, but you have guys that are very, very dynamic that can find a way to manufacture points. When it comes down to it, I don't think the Bucs are good enough, and I don't think Tom Brady's going to be able to manufacture enough points to beat the Bills. You're not beating the Bills 17-14, okay? You're not beating the Chiefs 13-10. Packers are a different story because they got less weapons in Ukraine right now. But Blaine, your thoughts on Tommy B?
Okay, so there's two things I'll never do in my life. I've talked about this. One, bet against Nick Saban, and bet against Tom Brady. Do I look worried? You're in the NFC South. All right, I know you're not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
That's what I'm talking. Why is Tom doing
this? The other team.
He's not doing this to win the NFC South.
The Bills are too good. Obviously Tom wants to win a Super Bowl, but the roster's just not good enough. Even with a healthy O-line, I don't think the roster's good enough to win a Super Bowl. I don't think that defense, let's go back to, I know Tom led the league in passing yards, but what did they do really well? Played great defense and ran the ball extremely well. A lot of their offense was built on what? The play-action game. And Tom's phenomenal at that. Tom will get you in the right look where you need to be, but at the end of the day, other people have to do their job. I don't know of a quarterback you could put on the Buccaneers right now, right? Maybe Josh Allen, just because of mobility. Maybe Patrick Mahomes.
Put Lamar Jackson on there.
Maybe Lamar Jackson. That could take them all the way. But I do think they'll be fine. I do think they'll be figured out. They still have one of the best receiving corps, in my opinion. I mean, you got Mike Evans, who's an elite receiver. I mean, you got, I can't remember his name, Slot.
You got Godwin.
Godwin. I mean, you have Kyle Rudolph at tight end. I mean, you have Leonard Fournette at back, who's also great out of the backfield catching passes. This team is still good. You're just so beat up front. And the offensive line, if you can't run the ball, you're not going to win a lot of games. Let's go look at the Giants right now. The Giants are running the ball and playing defense.
Look at the Jets.
That's what they're doing. The Jets right now, the Jets defense is elite, although they're going through some injuries right now. Breece Hall tore his ACL.
That was tough.
Pretty sure their tackle tore their ACL. He's out for the year, so I'd like to see what the Jets kind of look like. But it's kind of a new look right now in the NFL, in my opinion, of teams that are just running the ball and playing defense. I mean, I know you got the Bills and the Josh Allens. You got the Chiefs and the Patrick Mahomes. But then you kind of go lower than that. And when you see the Eagles, what are the Eagles doing really well?
Titans?
The Titans running the ball and playing defense. So it's kind of a flip a little bit in the NFL, not because we're slowly migrating to a passing league. But it's kind of going back to a little bit like, hey, we're going to turn around and hand the ball off. All right, stay on schedule, and we're going to play good defense. So I'll never worry about Tom Brady. I think they will figure it out. They'll get to the point where you just got to get healthy. It kind of reminds me of the 49ers a little bit. Everyone doubts the 49ers until they're somehow in the playoffs in a championship game because the 49ers have always done what well? Run the ball and play good defense.
Yeah, we know running the ball and playing defense is big, but I look at Tom Brady right now, and I guess it boils down to this. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Because we see what's going on in the periphery with Tom at home and stuff like that with Giselle. It's something at this point Is the juice worth the squeeze?
That's an interesting question. And I just think about the legacy. To me, I don't think there's anything that Tom Brady could do that ruins his legacy.
No, I don't prescribe to that argument.
And I don't think that Tom Brady needs to win another Super Bowl this season in order to be able to walk away. He already beat the odds by winning one after leaving Bill Belichick. But I'll tell you what really you don't want to do is have your first losing season in your last year and miss the playoffs and then, not be able to come back next year. Because that's where it really gets tricky to me. Like, what if the Buccaneers have a losing season and miss the playoffs? We're having a different conversation then. Does Tom Brady feel the need to come back next season then to sort of right that ship? Then that's a situation where you're looking like he's 46 at that time. Is the body starting to fall apart? And now you're trying to press a little bit, even with some of the weapons around him are leaving or getting worse.
Tell us in the comments. Like and subscribe. Tell us in the comments, do you think Tom Brady, is this his last year or not? Checking it out. We're bringing the content every day, so make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you want to, ring that bell like Quasimodo so those notifications come on. Catch you soon.